Hi, everyone. I am Meredith Liepelt of Rising Star Publicity. Happy to be here with you today to share some of my thoughts on your brand message. I want to share some 5 mistakes actually that are very common in brand messaging and why they're important, because your brand message is really important when you're out there selling your services, because people are buying you. So it's important to show us who you are. And a lot of times that actually takes some courage. Like people often say, just be you and all this kind of stuff. And yes, that's true. You do need to be yourself for sure. But sometimes that also takes courage, because if you start showing yourself, it can be a little bit risky. Sometimes it can feel very vulnerable. So it does take courage to go out there and have a successful personality-based business. And I'm going to talk you through some of the mistakes that I see people making so that you do not make them for yourself. And then at the end, I'm going to share some information about where you can get some more information for free. Okay, so my hope for you is that you step into your courage zone as you are creating your brand message and delivering your brand message in all the various ways that you deliver it. Sometimes people think your message is the name of your business or your tagline or things like that. The truth is your message is every brand touch point. It's every way that you put yourself out there. And some of that will become more clear as I walk you through some of these mistakes. Okay, so first of all, I'm looking down because I have notes here. Okay, first of all, one of the big mistakes that I see out there is people having a very unclear message. This happens a lot because a lot of times when you're first starting out, you're kind of trying and you're testing some things, and all that is well and good. But at some point you do need to land on the problem that you solve and who you're solving that for. So your message needs to be very clear. Sometimes people will say, talk to people like, what do you do? Well, I do this, but I also do that. And then there's the other thing. And you can have multiple things that you do. I'm not saying that you can't, but when you go out there and you need to answer the question, what do? You need to have a clear answer for what that is. Otherwise, people are confused and they don't understand, and you seem unfocused, even if in your mind, you're very focused and you know what you're doing. You need to be able to state in an articulate way what it is you do and the benefit of that to people. Because when people are clear about what it is that you do, they will either identify that, yes, I actually need that, or I know someone who actually was just talking to me and maybe they need that. Okay, so they can refer you, or they will see you as a provider for a need that they have. So if your message is unclear, if somebody asks you, hey, what do you do? And you're like, oh, how do I answer this? You need some work around your messaging, and there's no shame in that. Believe me, we've all been there. But the great thing is you can go out there and you can get help and you can nail this. And it doesn't have to take 6 months or a year. You can nail this. You really, really can nail this relatively quickly. One of the tips I want to give you is imagine telling a 10-year-old what it is that you do. If a 10-year-old can understand it, you're at least on track to be able to be understood out there in the marketplace. Because if we use these fancy buzzwords and all this stuff and just lots of talk, we talk and talk and talk for 5 minutes about what we do, that is an indication that we need some clarity on your brand message. Okay, so that's mistake number 1. Okay, so mistake number 2 is not taking a stand for what you believe and not sharing your point of view. Like you don't want to ruffle feathers. You don't want to, have people judge you for your thoughts, your original thinking, that kind of thing. All of that is going to hold you back because people aren't going to know you. And people buy from people that they know and like and trust. And it takes courage, because sometimes you will attract the people that you want, but you will also repel people who are not your people. They're really not your people. But it is a hard thing when you have a personality-based business. You're out there selling coaching services, perhaps consulting, group coaching, things like that. You think, well, I don't want to offend anyone. And I'm not saying go out there and try to offend people, but it is okay to share your values, what you believe in, what you don't believe in, those kinds of things all can go into your messaging. And they can show up in a variety of ways. They can show up in words, verbally. They can show up visually in images. They can show up in articles that you share. All this kind of stuff goes into your messaging. So not taking a strong enough stand and not sharing your point of view is one of the problems that I see. Okay. Okay. The next problem is that you haven't clearly identified an audience. I'm sure you've heard this before. You have to identify your audience. And it is so true, because imagine, as in your coaching practice, you can work with, mothers of, stay-at-home moms of preschool kids versus, well, there goes my phone. Turn that off. Preschool kids, or like CEOs who travel extensively. Like, those are two very, very different markets. You could be a stress coach and you could help both of those markets. But if you hone in on who are your people, who do you really want to help? Who do you already have an audience with? You can start there. It doesn't mean your business won't grow and morph and you can't add different audiences. You definitely can. But when you're first starting out, it is so much easier when you can be clear on who you are really wanting to target and who you can help. So who you can target, who you can help, who do you know, who has the money, who and who already knows that they have this problem that you can answer, that you have the solution for. Okay, so who is your audience? You really have to get clear on that. So I do work with a lot of coaches, and sometimes, like, coaches, and I'm a coach, like, we think, we can help a lot of different people. But imagine if you're a coach and you're somewhat like a business or marketing coach, and you can help people go from private coaching into group coaching. That is a niche. That is definitely, you can have a message that will reach those people. Or you could say, I help coaches with their Facebook ads, or something like that. But when you get real specific, as opposed to, like, I'm a business coach, like, I don't know what that means. Like, if you tell me that, I don't know exactly what that means. So I would need some more information before I would know, do I need to hire you? Do I know people who could hire you? Should I have you as a guest on my show so that my audience might be able to hire you? When you get really clear on who you want to help, it becomes much easier to build your business. Okay. The fourth problem is focusing on what I do versus what's in it for you. Okay, you've all heard that acronym, right? The WIIFM, what's in it for me? We always have to be thinking, what is in it for our audience? Because it's very easy for us to be, especially on our homepage, on our website, talking all about us. Like, this is all me and all this kind of stuff. Well, the truth is, you want to be talking about the solution. You want to be talking about the problem that you solve, and the fact that you have a solution, because people buy solutions. They're not necessarily going to buy just you because because they like you. Yes, they need to know, like, and trust you, but they need to know that you have the specific solution. And I alluded to this when I was talking about audience. You need to be able to say, this is what's in it for you. If you want to leave your stress at the door, even though you're traveling 24/7, I've got the solution for you. If you want to know how to run Facebook ads and have them generate income for you, I've got the solution for you. Whatever your thing is, you need to let people know very clearly what is in it for them should they hire you, very, very clearly. And I'll share a story about myself. Like, I actually rebranded my business several years ago to Rising Star Publicity, because it became very clear to me that the people that were coming to me were people who know they're on a track of, their star is on the rise, and they want to continue that. They want more visibility. They want more credibility. They're looking to get out there in the media. They want publicity, that kind of thing. So they're all rising stars on some level, whether they're just starting out or 5-time New York Times bestselling authors. I've worked with everyone in between. So that market has gotten bigger for me as my audience has gotten bigger as I've continued in my business. and you'll find that as well. But the message is still the same. Rising star publicity, that kind of said, that calls out to people, and people are really resonating with that. So so think about those tips as well. Lastly, I wanted to talk to you about oh, here we go. Right, people don't tell their stories. Like, we want to hear from you. We want to hear, like, what is your story? Why do you do what you do? Why is it important to you? Where did this all come from? And that helps to build that know, like, and trust factor, right? So the more we know about you, the more we're like, oh, this is like a real person that I can relate to. They've had some struggles, they've had some ups and downs, they've had success. Can really learn from them. In fact, a lot of times I feel like I can often learn more about someone when they tell me about their struggles or their failures than when they tell me all they're doing is telling me about, oh, I'm so successful, and now I live on the beach, and I sit here in my beach chair, all the time. Like, I don't believe that that's true, first of all, but the more that you can tell your story, where you came from, why you do this work, why it's important to you, the more you're going to be able to reach your people. You can do this through like I actually have a manifesto on my website that I wrote a few years ago. I didn't always have a manifesto, but that's one way that you can start thinking about, like, how can I share my story? Why do I do what I do? You can also, like, if you go on podcasts, just a short story, just like a minute or two, about why you do what you do. Why is it important to you? Having those stories there for you to just kind of pull out and be able to share at a moment's notice will help you to have a very clear brand message and reach your people. So I hope these 5 mistakes have kind of shown a light a little bit on how to take what you're doing and put it into your message. I do have a free report on my website. You don't even have to give me your email address. You just go get it. It's risingstarpublicity.com. Then go to the freebies tab. It says freebies. And I have this report. It's called 5 Reasons Your Brand Message is Costing You Clients. And I go into more detail in this report. And I also have several other free things there that will help you to make a name for yourself as you are getting yourself out there, whether it's through publicity or LinkedIn or anything like that. So go check out all those freebies. They are there for you. You can also sign up for my newsletter if you want to, but I'd like to encourage you to keep moving. This is all very, very doable. You've got this, and I can't wait to see you out there. Again, I'm Meredith Liepelt with Rising Star Publicity. Thanks for watching. I'll see you around. Bye.
All right. And we are back. we have some audio difficulties, I do believe. I hope you're listening. And so I got the headphones now. I'm not sure if you hear me or not, but hopefully you do. Amazing stuff from Meredith just now about your messaging. Just to confirm, what you need to do in order to get your content correctly centered and aligned with your offer. So just amazing stuff. But we're going to kick it off one more time, or not kick it off, but do the send off of this particular challenge at 2:30 p.m. Eastern time with Luke Guy. Hope you're there and excited, because he's going to really kill it for us. Again, we couldn't have Matt McWilliams on as planned at 4 p.m., but I do believe he's going to come back due to some unforeseen circumstances. But he says, I do believe he might be able to come back maybe later this next week, maybe with Darius 10. Maybe we have Darius 10 next week. I didn't say that yet, but Darius 10 will be for bonus training next week. So get ready for that. And yeah, 2:30, we'll see you again with Luke Guy. And Luke Guy is talking about, as I put the thing on here, he's going to be talking about how to gain social proof under 24 hours. This is the fastest way he knows to get clients. All right. So be looking out for that, and we'll see you on the next one very shortly. All right. Let's go.